Welcome back to K-Chat with me, your host, Kayla Morales. We chat all things from love to business to spirituality and health and wellness and everything in between. This is a space of growth, understanding, and meaningful connection. And I'm so excited to share this episode with you all, so let's get to chatting. Today's guests are a dynamic duo that not only started a booming business in the midst of a pandemic, they got married as well. Today we are chatting all things love and business. A big welcome to our guests, the owners of Maye-Williams Activewear, Shaun and Mycah Maye-Williams. Hey guys.
Hey.
Welcome. So the other day I was thinking that we should start off with a word of intention to kind of set the tone for this podcast and every episode. So my word is safety and safe. I want you all to feel safe and welcome to chat about anything that you feel comfortable chatting about, and to really just feel safe sharing your story. So what's one word of intention that you each have?
I guess mine will be love, because the basis of our business and our marriage is about love, and love always conquers all. So,
Love is a good one. How about you, Mycah?
I think mine would probably be sharing. This is kind of the essence of, we shared our story. That's how kind of we grew this company and sharing together our life and then sharing, friendship and our story with you and your followers. So,
Yeah, and your story has inspired so many people already. So I'm really excited to have you both on and to share it again with our listeners. So let's just jump right in it. Right in it. Let's just jump right into it and tell us how you two met.
all right.
we met on Instagram. He was liking all of my photos. And so I was like, who is this liking all of my photos? So I went to his profile picture and I was like, oh, he's like a cute little nerd. And I thought he was doing like the like hands up sign, thumbs up sign, but he was doing like the little rad dude sign, but I didn't see that. So I was like, oh, he's like a cute nerd. It's him, and the rest is history.
So she slid in the DMs. Shaun, were you surprised that she slid in your DMs?
Uh, yeah, but I mean, that's what you wanted to do, is get her attention. She just gave me a little more than what I was expecting. Um, if we were in person, I probably would never talk to her, even though I always say, wow, she's gorgeous, but I would have been too shy to say something to her. So,
Oh,
she was my best friend, and it got me my wife. So, I'm happy about that.
sweet. That's so sweet. See, ladies, slide in the DMs. Take matters into your own hands. So do you guys want to tell us how you guys came up with the idea of Maye-Williams Activewear?
Right.
So we started about 2017, 2018. And I was acting and modeling, and Shaun would create like these pieces for me to wear like on set and things like that. He would always come with me on set. He still does come with me on set all the time. And so people were asking like, hey, what is this? What is this? What is this? And I was like, well, my boyfriend made this for me. But we really didn't do anything with it at the time. Um, but then, cut to the pandemic and everything that happened, 3 years later, it was such a great idea. And we were like, okay, let's go ahead and let's just actually do it. So that's what happened. We just went for it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And I got tired of her wearing everybody else's brand. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, why don't we just start something with our own name on it
Yeah.
and our own brand? So I started making samples and getting those done. And she started taking pictures
Mm-hmm.
and started gaining some traction. And people were saying like, oh, I like that. That actually looks good. I will wear that. I will buy that. So one thing led to another. And in the pandemic, we just took money from our savings because our wedding got canceled.
Right.
And then we just went for it. And people have been responding to it immensely. So we're ever grateful for that.
Yeah.
Which you two both deserve too. You guys are both hardworking and such kind, like loving people. So I'm so happy for your success thus far. And I'm hopeful for your success to continue. to infinity and beyond, pretty much. So you two have a really great mission, and I noticed in your campaigns they're very inclusive, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Mycah, how did being an actress affect you in creating that mission and focus on inclusivity?
Well, being a Black actress and starting out in San Diego, I would go on auditions before I started really like getting into it, and just noticing that a lot of the times I was like the token Black person or the token Black actress, or it was kind of just to fill a quota,
Mm-hmm.
to show that this brand is inclusive, but it wasn't something that they had thought of a long time ago, or anything like that. So um I when we really started forging ahead with this company, I have so many different friends from so many different backgrounds, and knowing how that feels as an actress and a model to sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes be the token person, or just a quota. I wanted everyone, all of my friends, to know that at the beginning of our company, when we first started it, when right now, we're thinking about them, and we want them to be seen, and everybody should be seen, and everybody should feel beautiful and feel like, because we're active, we're aligned. There's not one body type that's healthy, or there's not one body type that's fit, so to speak. So we really wanted to break that mold and barrier, and knowing how that feels to not be represented was one of the driving factors that I used to start casting for models and influencers when we started the company.
Nice. Yeah, it's so cool to see. I remember when the first campaign came out, I was like, oh shit, look at everyone. Everyone looked beautiful. And yeah, it was just really refreshing to see everyone be represented. And I know that you guys will continue that, which it's only going to be even more exciting to see. And your outfits and pieces look beautiful on everyone, which is really cool. Um, how did how did you guys decide your marketing plan? Like, how did that work? You use influencers, you use ads, or yeah, what do you do with marketing?
Uh,
Uh,
I think we just pretty much we just use honesty, really. We just put it out there, and we knew what we wanted, and we have like a board that literally has everything on there, like what we wanted to be included in there, and it's literally the world that we see today. And one of the
mhm.
things that we say is this brand was made with you in mind. So when you buy something from us, you know that it was made with you in mind, because we want to make sure that everybody is seen and everybody is heard. And just like what Michael was saying during the pandemic and during the Black Lives Matter movement, a lot of companies and big companies were rushed to say like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we have diversity and inclusivity and all that stuff." They were forced to do that, but no, we want to start off with that from the jump and
Mhm.
show that to everybody. And
Mhm.
it's kind of like how Rihanna did the Fenty Beauty and was embracing all the skin tones and colors and stuff, and then everybody tried to say, "Oh, we have those too," but
Yeah,
the marketing wasn't behind it, and
you
nobody,
didn't think about it.
yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
really, nobody has ever
Mhm.
said it. So we wanted to show that from the jump and from the start, and it's not something that was like that forced us to do it. So I
Yeah.
think that's where it came into for me. But she usually does the marketings, and I think she just took that and ran with it, and then just created a whole bunch of great campaigns with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, authenticity attracts, it's so like it's noticeable. People can feel it even through a screen, I jumped a little ahead. I want to go back to the engagement story because the pictures and the video was beautiful. And I know that some traction kind of came from that too, which is really cool. So, Shaun, do you want to give us the lowdown on the engagement story?
Yeah. The engagement story was it was beautiful. We went to Sunset Mona Lisa. That's in Los Cabos. It's a nice restaurant on a cliff, and you overlook the water and the waves crashing and the birds flying by. It literally looks like a movie. So that's what I wanted to go do. I wanted to give her something that she can remember and we can show our kids one day. So, um, but I made one mistake. I didn't get a videographer, but
Yeah.
we'll get in that later.
That's
But we
okay. It worked out. It worked out in the end.
we can do a redo or once we do our Always be something.
Okay.
But a little bit about that story. That was like probably one of the most hardest things I had to do in 4 months in my whole lifetime. So it took 4 months when I was planning it. Because we always talk about everything. Me and her are like best friends, and I don't keep any secrets from her, and she don't keep any secrets from me. So me knowing that in the back of my head, I was just like so anxious, and I even had the ring that she has on now. Uh,
Bling bling.
I had it because she'll I don't know, she'll just be going trying to find something. I had to literally put the ring in her brother's room in like one of his shoe boxes, so she wanted to go through our room or something, looking at it. So, but leading up to it, it was surreal. I mean, I had a good time and everything like that, and I surprised her at the Sunset Mona Lisa. I'm laughing because we almost got caught because it was just me, her, and my family that was going. She didn't know her family and her best friend was there or her brother was coming. She didn't know they were coming. So we were going to the restaurant and then I saw their taxi in front of us. And the reason why I knew that was them because her brother has pointy ears. And I was like, I think that's their brother. So I had to think of something quick. So what I did was like I pulled over on the side of the road. Was like, oh, I think we got a flat tire because it was like a dirt road, so it was perfect. So I just told everybody stay inside, and then I'll make sure I'll figure it out. And I act like I was on the phone calling the rental car company and all that stuff, but I was stalling so they can have time to sit down and all that sort. So that worked. And then we got to the restaurant. They sat them down, and then the restaurant manager came to me and they said, "Hey, we got to get you to put deposit down," which I didn't need a deposit. I needed to do a outfit change because I wore something that was just like generic. And then she was just like, "Why is he wearing that? He must not be proposing to me because he match what I'm wearing." So I kind of had to throw her off because she's real smart. So I did that and then did the outfit change and it was taking a little while and she was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Yeah, they want like a $3,000 deposit." But she said, "Oh no, she was about to come." She was about to where I was like, "Why did I say $3,000?"
$3,000.
I don't know. I said, then I did that, and then we were taking pictures, and I prayed over the ring, and then I came out, and it made me feel good too because everybody was looking at us because they knew something was about to happen big.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I guess my grandma had like her phone in Micah's
Yeah.
face, and you know how old people do, they just be recording stuff, and we were
Yeah, the
trying
little
to just.
moments.
I tapped her on the shoulder, and then the rest is history, and I proposed to her, and that's what happened.
Yay, it was beautiful. Micah, how did you feel in that moment?
It was really surreal because he made sure that my family was there. My best friend, who I hadn't seen in 2 years at that time, was there. So it was a beautiful place, and he planned it perfectly. So it was like an amazing time. I loved
That's
it.
that's sweet. It was beautiful. I'm glad you guys shared with us too, like the moments. And it's so great that you had her best friend come out. That's really the icing on the cake, Shaun. So props to you.
Yeah, yeah, made it work.
So what's it like balancing other jobs? Micah, you're still acting and modeling. Shaun, you're still working as well. What's it like scheduling and balancing out other jobs and then Maye-Williams Activewear as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So usually what you do is once you done working your 9 to 5, you have to allot time to work on your business for yourself. So you gotta make sure that when you get home, you're gonna eat, maybe shower, and
Take care of
then
yourself.
yeah, take care of yourself. Then you gotta get right to it. And then so like sometimes for us, like when we first started off, we used to be up to like 4 or 5 in the morning
Yeah.
just to get it done.
Damn.
You don't have to cram everything all at once. You could just do one thing at a time eventually, and then it'll start to add up because you don't want to burn yourself out because that'll be exhausting. But just make sure
Mhm.
you prioritize and balance. That's what I've learned, and make sure you work on your business because if you don't start now and you keep resetting the clock and saying that, oh, I'll get started this weekend or I'll do it next month, or if I have this amount of money saved up, then I'm gonna do it. No, make sure you start now because uh, if you don't start, somebody else could take that idea and then they run with it and it blows up, then you'll feel ashamed. So
Yeah,
say,
the time is now. What
Yeah.
about you, Micah?
A lot of the times, I'll schedule my day out and I'll try, I wake up and then we make sure that we have like our time in the morning, whether we work out together or we eat breakfast or whatever. We make sure we have our time. And then it's helpful now because I'm not just by myself. Like I have an agent, but before when I was submitting myself, it was crazy. But it's helpful now that, you know, I have somebody to help me submit for myself or submit me for roles. And so I have I have, you know, a team to help me, but then also Shaun will help me out if I have an audition that needs a self-tape or something. He'll help me record. So it's just a lot of juggling and time management that helps me out, you know, now at this time. So it's gonna be a little scary when everything opens back up. Because you know, if you're doing a project, if you're doing a job, obviously you won't have as much time at home as we've had when we started during the past year, the next year until next year. But yeah, it'll work out, and we'll just, you know, try to manage our time. Time management is the biggest thing.
Definitely, definitely. What are some of the challenges that you've each or both of you have faced with Maye-Williams Activewear? What are some of the biggest challenges you guys face thus far?
Probably time management and burnout, managing your time so that you don't get burnt out. I know, like, after the end, because we're doing everything, we're the ones creating the marketing campaigns, you know, we're doing the job of 30 people. We're the ones packing, we're the ones, you know, talking to vendors. It's just us doing everything. So that is the biggest thing, probably managing not getting burnt out and getting tired, because you love this. It's kind of like our first baby, but you don't ever want to get tired, you know, of something you created. So, and then, you know, that leaves you with, oh, I could have did this today, I could have did that today, and you don't ever want to feel like that. So managing that time, taking care of ourselves, and spending time with one another outside of business and work is one of the main things that we've had to learn and grow over time. Like, okay, we have to set this aside. We've been working at this for 10-12 hours today. We have to just go to bed. So yeah, that's probably been the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's good to know and to talk about too, because I think sometimes people see like the success and see the photos and everything else and think like, oh, it must be easy. But in reality, you guys are putting in work, you know, in the background.
Yeah.
What are some challenges you faced, Shaun?
Yeah, I think just for me, when we first started, just especially doing our first bulk order, that challenge for me is to hit that purchase button. That was a
Yeah.
challenge for me because
Yeah.
like $2,500 just for the first bulk order when we did the smoothie collection, and then I think that's almost one of the biggest purchases I did besides your ring. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm kind of scared to do
On
that.
like one outing. I mean, no, that's not true.
What?
Because we've purchased tickets that are
Okay.
yeah. That is true. All at
Because
one time.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, because like when I bought a car, I never bought like a nice super fancy car. I just bought like a regular car just to get me by. But
Yeah.
then when I the biggest purchase I bought was your ring, but then that was the next
But
one for the
trips
business.
too.
Trips, yeah,
And yes, at one time,
yeah,
just like you have money, then it's gone. Yeah.
yeah. So just get into that groove, just saying like, you're gonna
Mhm.
you see your account, it was like this, and then it's gonna go down because you gotta invest in yourself
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's big in order to get a
Yeah.
big return. And the next thing is I would say just knowing that Rome wasn't built in a day.
Mhm.
You see all these people out here, financial gurus and all that stuff, and they say,
Mhm.
yeah, you can become a millionaire. It takes time. You got to know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like, not a race to be a millionaire or a billionaire or a thousandaire, whichever your goal is to be. It's not a race. So you just make sure you just stay focused and do what you can handle and make sure you can get help. If you have the means to get help, try
Yeah.
to get help. It's gonna help you out in the long run. So that's what I would say to people that was the first challenge that I had.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Just
just making the leap to the
yeah,
purchase.
it's
Yeah.
not in a rush to be successful. You want to be successful, but just take
Take the
the
steps.
steps to make sure you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race.
You're right.
So what's it like working with your partner?
It's a lot. It can Okay, so I mean, the good thing about me and Shaun is we've always kind of run our relationship seriously, like even when we were dating super, super young. Um, with especially finances, like we've always run our relationship together since we started dating. It was never anything separate. We learned how to manage money in the beginning of our relationship. We learned how to work together. Um, so that was kind of the easy part, but having these ideas and then having to come together and talk to each other like, hey, I think we should do this. Well, I think we should do this, and coming together and making decisions based on what we both think for our company with such high stakes, because you're talking about thousands of dollars that we could have used to do anything else, to pay student loans off, whatever. That's something that those are really big decisions. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges that we've had to overcome. Like, okay, what are we going to do with this money? What are we going to do with this photo shoot? What are we going to do with this collection? And how are we going to market these things? All of these big decisions that you're making for your future. It's really just us. So I would tell people, probably try to get a mentor. I feel like, thank God, we've really been blessed and we have such a supportive family. But if it's just you by yourself, try to get somebody to help you out, because we have people to ask. We have our family that's made financial decisions before, but we have a goal in mind. We want to be multimillionaires. We want to have something to pass down to our children. So making these huge decisions with money, is something that can be scary at 24 and 28, but it's just something that we're getting working towards together.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for money management? Like, what has worked for you guys?
I think right now, honestly, I think we think about money very, very differently after this year. I know personally I do.
Same.
It's just, if you don't know what you really learn, if you don't know how to manage $100, you're not going to know how to manage $1,000. If you don't know how to manage $1,000 for the week or 2 weeks, you're not going to know how to manage $10,000. Those are the things that we really had to learn on how to manage our money and manage our finances. And investing is a huge thing that we really, really, went full-fledged into this year. And actually seeing a return on your investment, how that feels, and then how you have to go back to it. It doesn't even matter. Like, you're not going to be rich by taking $10,000 or taking 15,000 saying, okay, I'm done. No, it goes back to the business. Like, it's something that's really, really crazy to see those numbers and then be like, well, I can just, I can have so much fun with this. It's growing up to be like, I can go on this trip, but being forced not to be able to travel, not to be able to do anything else, but learn how to manage money and learn how to invest. I think that was the biggest thing for me this year. Because
you inspired me to invest too in stocks. It was you.
You have to. I mean, because it's money sitting there, and just having more money this year than we've probably ever had, and owning something and making it ourselves, and knowing like, okay, we had like CDs and stuff before, but it's like, if you have 2,000, whatever you have, if you have 2,000, 5,000 or whatever like that, put it in the market, put it in the stock market. I'm going to say this, when everything crashed and went down, I was going to invest in Bitcoin for $5,800, right? One Bitcoin was $5,800. Do you know how much Bitcoin is right now? I don't.
Okay.
Bitcoin is $15,000 now. If I would have bought one, and guess who told me not to do it?
It's all right, Shaun. It's okay. But you learn, right? You learn from that.
That's something you learn. But those are the things that even we're doing it together. But if we would have had somebody, it's a very volatile thing and it gets scary. But if we would have had somebody, I knew that it was going to go back up. But I was still scared to do it, even when he said, no, don't do it yet. And I was still scared, even when I was at 68.
But that's when this is when when you're in a relationship and when you're in a marriage, because finances is like one of the number one things to divorce.
Yeah.
So she said she was confident and she had the knowledge and she had a good feeling about it, but that was a $5,000 investment. And I told her I wasn't so sure about that because I haven't.
He was doing stocks, but he was like, I don't know how Bitcoin really works, blah, 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 blah.
Stocks and then that cryptocurrencies are two different things.
Right.
And yeah, those are very volatile type things. But we didn't know much about it. But we stuck together, and like she said, we've been doing finances early in our relationship, and she didn't just rear off to the side and said, I'm doing it. She didn't say I was doing it and then just did it upon herself. She
even though it would have made us a lot of money.
Yes. But she made sure that we both agreed on it, which we didn't. I was not feeling it, and then she was, and she didn't do it. So you gotta have this.
It's not everything at the end of the day. Even though it would have been good, what if it would have been bad, and then he would have always. It's not a huge amount of money that it would have ruined our marriage, but those type of decisions you can't really make by yourself while you're married, and it's it's our money together. Whatever we make is our money. So
yeah, and it's just about having mutual respect for each other, right? Like not going behind someone's back and doing something. It's just like out of respect for your partner.
Knowledge is power. If we would have known more, if we were able to know more and we were ahead of the curve, we would have both been as confident as I was, knowing that this is something that, that we really could have done to secure more funding, to secure all of these things. So that's when I started, researching this stuff, and he was already doing contracts and stuff in stocks, but options. Yeah. So, but this is the knowledge that you have to have, and you start implementing different people and watching different people on YouTube. And, I love entertainment, but now I just look at these type of tools that we have access to all this, information now, that for finances and for understanding of how the market is going to work and all these things. These are things that we can use that 50 years ago we didn't have to secure our children's futures and all of these type of things. So if you have the time, start looking into different ways to understand different methods of finance. You should have at least four streams of income.
Yeah.
4 to 7 streams of income. And that can be Bitcoin, that can be stocks. If you have $20, instead of buying Starbucks, throw it into the stock market. It can be $100 by the end of the week if you are doing your research. So that's what
that's great advice. Do you have any specific people on YouTube or books or any resources that really have helped you?
I'm bad with names, but he knows. Here, there's a book right here. This is Rise and Grind by Daymond John.
Nice.
But there's a couple on YouTube. I mean, Graham Steffens is good. He does real estate. My brother's in real estate, so that's our next thing for next year. We're actually saving to buy a house now.
Nice.
But real estate is a huge way that people have generational wealth. So we're looking into buying a house now with the lowest interest rates that anybody has ever seen in years. It's like 3%. So
no, it's lower than that.
2 to 3%.
There's somebody, depending on based on your credit.
Yeah.
And wherever you are, state by state, there's somebody that got a 1.8 interest rate.
Wow, that's wild.
Your car loan only, or student loans, or what, the main things that people have in loans, only being 1% interest, you're paying, basically nothing.
Yeah.
And if you look into CDs, they'll pay you back if you put your money in. It's basically a savings account. You put your money in, they'll pay you dividends based on how much money you put into there. So there's so much ways to make money. Just do it. Just don't just work at a job and support someone else's dream and not have other ways to take care of yourself. If everyone hasn't learned that this year, then you need to really be reevaluating all of these things, because
that is a quote.
These are people, these businesses, all these things. Look out for yourself, invest in yourself, look into the stock market, look into Bitcoin, look into real estate, and really find 2 different streams. Do a YouTube channel, look what you're doing, podcasts, look into these things invest in yourself, and your time is your biggest asset. Use the extra time that you have to find another stream of income.
I agree. Use your talents, use every resource at your hand to get it however you can. Um, do you guys have any advice to any entrepreneurs starting out?
Depending on what field you go to, I would just say just start. That's the main thing. Just start, uh, and try to grow your circle as well, especially in areas that you may not be so proficient in and expertise in. Grow your circle, because you always see those success stories like Mark Zuckerberg, the people he had around him, and then all these people that have these billion-dollar companies because they all knew they had one goal in mind: is they're not going to work a 9 to 5, or if they do, that they're going to make sure they utilize their time to create something bigger for themselves.
Right.
So I would say for me, you just got to start, because that's the first thing. That's what holds a lot of people back. Because like Michael Jordan said, you'll fail 100% if you don't try.
Yeah,
So you just have to start.
that's great advice. Anything, Micah, from you?
Um, yeah, I think what Shaun was saying too, make sure that you have people around you. Make sure that you're strong in your mind, because maybe you might have people that might try to discourage you around you, or that don't really understand the path that you want to choose, because it is a path that's kind of paved for you if you're trying to get a job, get a job and work for a company. It's a path that is it's not the path less traveled. So people might be opposed to it, but be strong-willed and strong mind, and also have people around you that can support you, and maybe people around you that have done it before. It's always going to be helpful.
Definitely being around like-minded people. So what can we expect to see in the future from Maye-Williams Activewear?
Maye-Williams Active. So we have some great new exciting some new exciting hoodies that we're coming
Oh
out with.
yeah,
They have a face covering, and the material on the inside is soft
There's
like
a
a
mask.
blanket.
they
So
look beautiful. They look really soft and comfy.
yes, they're gonna be real soft and comfy. We're gonna be releasing those around Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So make sure you check out for those deals. The hoodies, they're gonna come in black, cream color, and a gray color. So we only get a certain amount, so they're limited edition. So make sure you get yours. And also, we have another set that's coming out that our followers in our community voted on. It's the sneak peek set. So it'll be a 3-piece set, and it's gonna be amazing. So pretty much, it'll have like a mesh sports bra top, so you can. I guess if you want to show your goodies, you can feel sexy and feel free in their gear. So
Yeah,
it'll
there's a
have that
mesh here, and then there's mesh along the side of your
leggings.
legs, and then there's a jacket with it as well.
Yeah, the jacket
Nice.
has a back pocket, and the leggings have
Yeah, there's a
pocket
back.
zipper.
I have an iPhone 10. It fits your phone in the back.
Yeah, the
We
iPhone.
gotta have the pockets. Yesterday I was hiking and we didn't have any pockets, and I was like, game changer. That's awesome. Yeah, I love the Twilight set. That's the one I have. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's really great to wear. Yeah. And the sports bra is very supportive too. I was telling one of my friends, I'm like, you got to get it because it's supportive. Sometimes, when like a sports bra is just not supportive, it's like hard to work out in. Yeah. So everyone, I recommend Maye-Williams Activewear. Check out their new lines. Let's go to some listeners' questions. So I have 2 listener questions. Um, you might have answered this one already, but the hardest, and maybe you have another one also, but what was the hardest part starting the business? I feel like maybe this is like a second part of the question. How was it finding manufacturers? Because for me, I think starting like our business, it's been difficult to find vendors that I actually like can communicate with and trust. So I don't know if that was challenging for you guys or.
Yeah.
I mean, it was at first.
Mm.
The vendors we use there across the country, so just staying out with them, talking to them, that's pretty pretty much what we were doing up to 2, 3, 4 in the morning
That's
because
crazy.
yeah, it's like 7, 8 o'clock in the night, and 10 o'clock our time. So you have to stay up and make sure you communicate with them and make sure you're getting the best deal for yourself. That's what I would say, and make sure that the vendors you're talking to, because English isn't their first language, make sure they
Mhm.
understand what you're trying to communicate with to them. Don't just let them say, "Okay, got it." Make them reiterate what you said, and make sure everything is fine. Because if they send you something that you don't like, and that takes like a week and a half, 2 weeks to come, and you had a certain launch date for something to come, it'll delay your whole operation. So that's why we try to release stuff well in advance and make sure we uh, don't have to cut corners or have delays in our shipping or in our processing. So I would say for anybody trying to use a third party vendor, make sure communication is key. So
Mhm. How far in advance do you have your orders shipped to you? Like, what's the
uh,
timeline on that?
it depends on how big you want them. So like on
Mhm.
the order, because some vendors have MOQ is a minimum order quantity that they want you to order, and
Mhm.
that's something you want to talk about too as well, because they'll try to get the most money
I've
as
been
they
telling
can.
him he should do a class for people on how to start because it's a lot of knowledge that people don't know about, and even just making sure that all of your business is intact, like your licensing and your trademarks and all that stuff. It's just a lot of knowledge that he could help people to understand and cover, and talking to people, knowing the language like MOQ and all of those things. I was telling him he should do a class for it.
Yeah, you should. Or even YouTube or
Yeah,
Skillshare.
dude, I told
The
him
whole
that.
family's telling me started.
Get on it.
Information that you've gathered, as I'm telling him, like you can help people because
Mhm.
starting it's easy to say just start, and people have ideas, but sometimes they don't know how to get it out, or they don't
Yeah.
have the wherewithal to get it out. So that's something that you probably can help people with.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And that's great advice. Like, honestly, when we're talking about multiple streams of income, everyone has something to offer. Like, think about what your talents are, think about the information you can give, and create YouTube videos, podcasts, whatever it is, get out there. And even classes in your community. Like, those are ways that you can definitely create other streams of income.
Great way to say it. Everyone in this world has something to give.
Hmm. And that's the thing that needs to be given too. Like, that's the authenticity that attracts other people. So yeah, definitely. How are you guys dividing up the roles in your business?
I do a lot of the marketing, and just because of my experience with like photo shoots and photographers and all that stuff, a lot of the marketing comes second nature to me, and it's also something that I really enjoy. And then Shaun will do the all the vendors, and the
Inventory,
inventories and things like that.
scheduling.
Yeah, and we kind of try to teach each other how to do the other person's job, just in case something comes up, and we can always fill in. But the next thing, we're actually trying to hire an intern right now.
Nice. That's
So,
great. Yeah, shout out to anyone listening. They need an intern. That's awesome. And it's a great thing that you guys are ready to start expanding little by little. Like, that's really cool to see. Um, so where can our listeners find you at?
You guys can find us on Instagram at Maye-Williams Active. And then you also can check out our website, Maye-WilliamsActive.com. And we have Facebook too. I think you can type in
Maye-Williams
Maye-Williams
Company.
Active or the Maye-Williams Company LLC, which is on Facebook. So yeah. Oh, we have
and our
TikTok too. I
and our
forgot.
YouTube. We have a YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. And a TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What are each of those?
Maye-Williams Active.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, get on all the things. I think that's all I have. Thank you guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much for
having
having
us and sharing our
us.
story.
Yes.
Of course. Thanks for sharing with us.